Hi, this is Meat Grinder from Boston BJJ. Recently I just saw, I was just teaching Americana last week, and then the other day I just saw Braulio with his own Americana video. And I think I have a lot of respect. He's a phenom in jiu-jitsu, and I love his analytical abilities in breaking moves down. But his move is a little bit different, and maybe it's good for certain circumstances, and I like the way I do mine for certain circumstances. So we always talk traditionally about doing a paint with the forearm, okay? And bringing the elbow down towards the hip. And this is, I don't really like that description of bringing the elbow to the hip. It's a little misleading. What happens is, when you have the arm like, you start out with the arm like this, and you paint the forearm down, it's the elbow in here that starts out perpendicular, and then the angle becomes acute. It becomes a smaller and smaller angle, okay? So what I really want to do is just focus on this angle right here, keeping it perpendicular, and moving my entire frame to make his arm stay perpendicular the whole time. That arm. As I still bring his elbow to the hip, but I'm more concerned with this elbow angle than anything. Okay? So in order to do that, I don't keep my elbow up against the ear, because that would keep that distance constant, and it would just make the angle change. I let the elbow come off the ear, and I'm focused strictly on moving my entire frame and keeping this arm perpendicular. Can you put your head here? All right, can you switch around? All right, so now I'm going to show it in action here. So when I'm going in to get this grip, come over here, pin it down. I like to have this arm as close to the elbow as possible. All right, and I like with this hand to grab the edge of his hand. That'll reduce his chance to extend his arm out. If I grip here, sometimes he might reach out and extend it, right? But if I grip the edge of his hand right here with a couple of my fingers, then he tries to extend it, it's not as easy. Okay? Now, when I reach under, like out here near his elbow, put this hand over here, I'm focused just on this angle, being 90 degrees, and not worried about keeping my elbow against his ear. I'm just going to come in here. That's it. I mean, I can barely show you the motion because it comes into effect that quickly. If I was just to not do the arm at all and just show you, I would be like moving this way, this way, this way, this way, this way. So I'm just moving my body like a frame, okay? Now sometimes it's knee up against the hip right here to stop him from moving, but it's very difficult for him to move anyways, just because of the position of his arm right here. He can't turn to the side really to shrimp it all. If the arm is if the wrist is very close to the shoulder, he's going to be able to flex his elbow up like that. But once I focus on keeping that 90 degrees, there's no, I move it a little bit like that, there's no flex. Look at that, I try and move it a little bit, there's just nothing. The closer I come here, there's absolutely no movement without getting attacked. I used to do this a lot with, I kind of changed how I did it when I was doing the lapel wrap with the gi. I take his lapel, I wrap it around his wrist right here, and I catch it here. But this would keep his wrist up against his shoulder. And so when I was trying to do that here and keep his wrist way in, he's able to really flex his elbow like that. So I started wrapping the lapel, coming here, coming over to this side, pushing the wrist out so this is 90 degrees again, and then just changing it. You can see how my whole body is keeping the frame the same and just rotating it over. Just like that. All right? All right, thanks a lot, guys.
Like and subscribe.